Yes.
First of all, thanks for having me here. A little bit of a short intro, so I'll get to the cooking very quickly. I've grown up in a lot of different places, and I happened to grow up in Mississauga when I was a young kid. And it's a great city. It is truly multicultural, and it has influenced the way I cook, believe it or not. We have all these different villages and all these different styles of cooking, all these nationalities living together, cooking together, getting married together, all these things happening in one beautiful city. In many ways, I think that Mississauga is a great model for how to live and how to create a beautiful, I even hate using the word tolerant. I think it's more accepting culture that we're all looking for. My mother immigrated here when she was in her early, probably mid-20s. I was 4 years old, and my mother brought me up, you know, in this part of this great city in Toronto as well. And I've traveled a lot all over the world, and my language really is food. I think that you can tell a lot about a culture by how they cook, how they eat together. I think it's impossible to not like a culture when you're having delicious food. So I'm going to show you a very, I want to say simple, but it's actually not. It is a little bit of labor involved in making this properly, but it's a really beautiful field tomato salad, different textures of tomatoes, different forms. There is an Italian component to this, but there's also Spanish, a lot of different things happening together on one plate, but it all makes a lot of sense. In the 90s, there was a cuisine called fusion, which had a bad name, a bad rap. I really think that that cuisine is going to make a big comeback, because now we all know what different ingredients are. We know what lemongrass is. We know what buffalo mozzarella is. We know what lime leaves are. We love to go out and have, you know, Indian curry or Thai curry. We have this huge appetite for different foods, different sensations. And I think what makes it so phenomenal in Mississauga is that, again, we have just such a vibrant community and so many little pockets and little hidden jewels within the city that are serving delicious food and incredible hospitality. So let's get started. Before we get going though, I want to introduce Marco. Marco's the head chef at Via Allegro, which has been open for almost 30 years. And he is an incredibly talented chef. I wanted to bring him here because we collaborated on this dish together, and I kind of get lost sometimes in what I'm doing and talking at the same time, so he's going to keep me on track. So let's get started. All right. So, does everyone know what a gazpacho is? Yeah? Good. So we're going to make a really beautiful gazpacho. We have one that's already made, but we're going to show you how to make it. So we're just gonna add a little bit of garlic, tomato, grapes, tomatoes, obviously. The grapes are the little secret ingredient that really help to bring all the balance together on this plate. Add a little bit of onion, cucumber, a little bit of sea salt, just a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of water just to make sure that there's enough liquid in here. So a little bit of red chili. And a little bit of lemon zest. So a story just came to mind. Does anyone here remember Novotel in Mississauga when it was open? So I used to work there. I took my apprenticeship there. And I was 16 years old. The chef was Chinese. His name was Ernest Lam. He was captain of the Chinese culinary Olympic team. He was a phenomenal chef. And I learned a lot about cooking there from him. The kitchen had every nationality you could imagine, and we all worked together. And I used to drive a motorcycle, and I would drive to work with my little red toolbox, which had all my knives in it. I would go up Huron, Ontario, north on Huron, Ontario, and my knives one morning before I started the breakfast shift at 5 o'clock in the morning came loose on my motorcycle, and they were scattered all over the road. So I've had some interesting experiences, let me tell you. All right, we're now going to blend this concoction here. So one of the other jobs that I had as a very young person was at a donut shop. I'm not going to mention the name, but one of my jobs at this donut shop, and I've told this story a few times, was I was in charge of filling the donuts with jelly. That was one of my job descriptions, the jelly filler. And I used to take a lot of pleasure out of overfilling the donuts with 5 times more jelly than I was supposed to put in them, so that I could watch them explode when people ate them. I got fired from that job, and then I ended up working at a steakhouse, and that lasted a good long 2 years. But I've worked in so many different kitchens and restaurants, and it's really shaped like the chef that I am now. And the thing I keep thinking about is just how kitchens are such a pressurized environment where you really have no choice but to collaborate with everyone, and everyone there fits in. It's a really beautiful model, I think,